What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will telling about 1 cent of coin United States of America Liberty 1991, 2013, 2015. Love a coin, please my YouTube channel, subscribe and like. Worth value queen. The United States 1 cent coin, commonly known as the penny, holds a unique place in American culture and history. Though it is the lowest denomination of US currency, it carries with it deep symbolism, national pride, and historic resonance. This script explores the history and design of the 1991 1 cent coin, popularly associated with the word liberty, and traces the coin's evolution, its connection to President Abraham Lincoln, and its broader economic and cultural significance. Origins of the U.S. 1 cent coin. Early American coinage. The story of the penny begins with the Coinage Act of 1792, which established the U.S. Mint and laid the foundation for the country's monetary system. The first 1 cent coins were large cents, much bigger than today's penny, made of pure copper and minted in 1793. These early coins carried no images of presidents, as the Founding Fathers initially rejected the idea of depicting leaders to avoid monarchical overtones. Evolution of design. The design evolved several times, from the flowing hair to the liberty cap, then the draped bust, and finally the coronet head designs, all featuring a symbolic representation of liberty, embodying freedom and democracy. By 1856, due to rising copper prices, the small cent was introduced, beginning with the flying eagle and followed by the Indian head cent. Lincoln cent, a revolution in design. Abraham Lincoln's legacy. In 1909, to mark the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, the first American coin to feature a historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse front bore Lincoln's profile, inspired by a plaque Brenner had previously created. Symbolism and controversy. The coin's design was met with mixed reactions. Some saw it as a break from classical traditions, others as a fitting tribute to a beloved president. The word liberty, appearing prominently to the left of Lincoln's portrait, reaffirmed the nation's democratic ideals, especially poignant given Lincoln's legacy in preserving the Union and abolishing slavery. The 1991 Lincoln cent. Design details. The 1991 penny featured the same obverse design as it had since 1909. Lincoln's bust, facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the top. Liberty. Left. The date, 1991. To the right, along with a mint mark, either no mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Proofs. The reverse depicted the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Design was created by Frank Gasparro. If one looks closely, the tiny statue of Lincoln is visible between the pillars, symbolizing the seated Lincoln from the memorial itself. The reverse includes United States of America and EPLURIBUS UNAM at the top and 1 cent at the bottom. Material composition. Originally made of 95% copper, the composition of the penny changed in 1982 to a core of 97.5% zinc with a 2.5% copper plating, due to the rising cost of copper. The 1991 penny follows this composition, making it a copper-plated zinc coin, weighing about 2.5 grams. And circulation. Hundreds of millions of 1991 pennies were minted, primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. San Francisco produced proof coins for collectors, featuring mirror-like finishes and more refined detail. The cultural and economic role of the penny. Everyday use and sentiment. The penny is deeply embedded in American culture, used in phrases like, "A penny for your thoughts," and "A penny saved is a penny earned." This image adds a solemn respect, reinforcing the coin's connection to American values. Big debates. Despite its legacy, The penny has long been the subject of economic debate. It costs more to produce than its face value. Critics argue it's outdated and should be phased out. Supporters believe its symbolism and role in pricing still matter. The 1991 penny, like others, represents this balance between tradition and practicality. The meaning of liberty on the penny. A ideal. The inclusion of liberty on U.S. coins dates back to the earliest issues and reflects the nation's founding principles. On the Lincoln cent, it reminds citizens of the sacrifices made to preserve freedom, especially poignant given Lincoln's role during the Civil War. Design intentions. For designers like Brenner, placing liberty beside Lincoln was no accident. It visually aligns the person with the ideal. Even in 1991, amid geopolitical changes worldwide, the word liberty stood firm on the penny as a statement of democratic resilience. Quality and value of the 1991 penny. Common circulation coins. Most 1991 pennies in circulation have little extra value. They're common and not rare. However, matters. A pristine, uncirculated 1991 cent can fetch a higher price. Coins are more than just currency. They're artifacts of history, symbols of national identity, and reflections of cultural and economic change. Among the most circulated and iconic coins in American history is the humble 1-cent coin, more commonly known as the penny. In this script, we will take a deep dive into the 1991 United States 1-cent coin, exploring its design, historical significance, mintage details, potential value to collectors, and everything in between. Overview of the U.S. 1-cent coin. The 1-cent coin has been a staple of American currency since 1793. Originally much larger in size and made from pure copper, the penny has undergone numerous changes in design and composition over the centuries. The most familiar version to modern Americans is the Lincoln cent, which was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin marked the first time a U.S. president appeared on regular issue coinage. The obverse front features a profile of Lincoln, and from 1959 to 2008, the reverse displayed the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The 1991 Lincoln cent. Key facts. Country: United States of America. Denomination: 1 cent. Year of issue: 1991. Mint marks: no mint mark. Philadelphia, D. Denver, and proof coins with S. San Francisco. Designer: Victor David Brenner. Obverse: Frank Gasparro. Reverse composition: 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper. Copper-plated zinc. Weight: 2.5 grams. Diameter: 19.05 millimeters. Edge: plain. Design details: obverse front. The front of the 1991 penny features the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Above his head is the word liberty, placed to his left. To the right of Lincoln's profile is the date, 1991, and depending on the mint, there may be a mint mark under the date, e.g., D for Denver. Reverse back. Reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above the memorial is the text, United States of America, and directly below it, the motto, EPLURIBUS Unum, meaning, out of many, one. Bottom is the denomination written as 1 cent. This design by Frank Gasparro remained in use until 2008. Mintage numbers: Philadelphia no mint mark, approximately 6.1 billion. Denver D, approximately 4.2 billion. San Francisco proof S, approximately 2.9 million. These large mintage numbers make the 1991 penny common in circulation, but some variations and conditions can make them more valuable. Historical context of 1991. In 1991, the United States was entering a new era. The Cold War was ending, the Gulf War had recently concluded, and the nation was experiencing shifts in technology, economics, and global positioning. These events may seem distant from the world of coinage. They are part of the broader historical backdrop against which this penny was minted and circulated. Varieties and errors. For coin collectors, errors and varieties add immense value and interest. 1891 penny, while common, has a few known error types. Off-center strikes. If the coin was not properly aligned during minting, part of the design may be missing. Errors can be worth several dollars, depending on the severity and whether the date is visible. Double die obverse DDO. Though less common for 1991, any doubling of letters or numbers, especially Liberty or the date, can significantly increase value. Clipped planchettes. When a blank for the coin is improperly cut, it can result in a clipped coin. Collectible anomalies. Transitional errors. While not specific to 1991, transitional errors from other years can sometimes be confused with or affect coins from this period, especially when examining planchette compositions. Grading and condition. Coin collectors assess the condition of a coin using a grading scale, from poor P1 to mint state MS70. A 1891 penny found in circulated condition is usually worth its face value, 1 cent. In uncirculated MS60 to MS65 condition, a 1991 penny can be worth 10 to 50 cents. Ms. 67. Grades can bring values up to $10 or more, especially if slabbed by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Proof coins from San Francisco 1991s are specially struck and intended for collectors. Be worth $1 minus $5, with perfect specimens valued higher. Market trends and collector interest. As of recent years, the collector market for modern Lincoln cents is modest but steady. Growing interest in building complete Lincoln cent collections, including every year and mint mark for this reason. Even common coins like the 1991 penny play a role. Key factors affecting value: luster and eye appeal, lack of contact marks or scratches, full original mint red color called red designation.
In your pocket, in your drawer, maybe even under your couch, lies one of the most overlooked yet enduring symbols of American history, the 1-cent coin. Known more affectionately as the penny, this tiny piece of copper tells a much bigger story. From the Revolutionary War to modern debates about its survival, the penny has traveled through time, touched millions of lives, and become a cultural icon. This is the story of the 2013 Liberty 1-cent coin, what it means, where it came from, and why its history still matters. The story begins in the 18th century. The United States had just gained independence. Founding fathers debated not only laws and governance, but currency. The fledgling nation needed a standardized monetary system. In 1792, the Coinage Act was passed, establishing the U.S. Mint and authorizing the creation of coins ranging from the half-cent to the $10 gold eagle. The first official 1-cent coin was struck in 1793. The flowing hair large cent, a coin nearly the size of a modern quarter. It was large and made entirely of copper. The obverse featured the head of Lady Liberty, her hair flowing freely, symbolizing freedom. The reverse bore a simple wreath in the words, 1 cent. Lady Liberty would become a recurring image on American coinage, but her form would evolve with the nation itself. Over the 19th century, the penny underwent numerous redesigns. As technology advanced and economics shifted, so too did the coin's appearance and composition. In 1856, the Flying Eagle cent was introduced, short-lived but revolutionary. It marked the beginning of a new, smaller cent. 3 years later, it was replaced by the Indian head cent, which would circulate for 50 years and become one of the most iconic early American coins. Then came a major turning point. In 1909, the United States celebrated the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. To honor the great emancipator, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Sculpted by artist Victor David Brenner, the obverse showed a profile of Lincoln. Brenner's initials, VDB, appeared on the reverse, and later, after some controversy, were moved to the front. The Lincoln cent has been in continuous production ever since, making it the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. Though the design persisted, the materials did not during World War II. Copper became essential for ammunition and war supplies. In 1943, the Mint issued a special wartime penny made from zinc-coated steel. It was prone to rust and often mistaken for a dime, but it remains one of the most collectible U.S. coins. After the war, copper returned, though in 1982, the penny was changed again. From that point forward, pennies would consist of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. This change was cost-effective but sparked debates about the coin's usefulness. After all, by the 2000s, it cost more to produce a penny than the coin's face value. The year is 2013. At first glance, the Lincoln cent of this year looks much like any modern penny. But this particular coin is part of a new design era that began in 2010, the Union Shield reverse. In 2009, the Mint had issued 4 special Lincoln cent designs commemorating the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. Each one depicted a different stage in his life, from his Kentucky birthplace to his presidential years. Then in 2010, a permanent new design was introduced, the Union Shield. This reverse features a large shield with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies joined under a single horizontal bar, symbolizing unity. Across the shield is a scroll bearing the words, 1 cent. Above it, the enduring motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one. The obverse remained unchanged, Lincoln's profile facing right, the word, liberty, to his left, and the date, 2013, to the right. Though simple in size and value, this coin carried a message, unity, strength, and the legacy of one of America's greatest leaders. One word on the penny has remained since the beginning, liberty. From the earliest Lady Liberty depictions to the word etched beside Lincoln's face, liberty is more than a word, it is a principle. A promise. A cornerstone of the American identity. The 2013 penny reminds us that liberty, while rooted in history, is ever present in our lives. Every transaction, every child's piggy bank, every forgotten coin jar carries this symbol forward.
A single copper coin, just 1 cent, overlooked by most, passed through millions of hands, and often dropped without a second thought. But what if we told you this humble penny, specifically the 2013 United States 1 cent coin, holds secrets, stories, and even a touch of hidden value? Welcome to our in-depth journey into the world of the 2013 Lincoln penny, where we uncover the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the artistic symbolism behind the coin's design, minting mysteries, errors worth thousands, and why some collectors are still hunting for that one elusive variant. Before diving into the specifics of the 2013 coin, let's go back, way back, to the origins of the United States 1 cent coin. First minted in 1793, the penny is America's oldest continuously produced coin. From the flowing hair design of the early large cents to the familiar Lincoln visage we know today, the penny has undergone numerous transformations. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This marked the first time a U.S. coin featured a real person, and who better than the man who preserved the Union? Designer Victor David Brenner etched Lincoln's stoic profile onto the obverse side of the coin, a design that endures more than a century later. Now let's zoom in on the 2013 version. The obverse, or heads, side, of the 2013 penny retains Brenner's original portrayal of Lincoln. It features the bold word, liberty, to the left of Lincoln's profile and the year, 2013. To the right, just below the date, is a small letter indicating the mint where it was struck, either D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, though Philadelphia mint coins typically have no letter, or S for San Francisco for special proof coins. Above Lincoln's head arches the timeless motto, "In God We Trust." 3 short words, yet they have sparked discussions and debates for decades. Flip the coin over, and you'll see a powerful symbol, the Union Shield. Introduced in 2010, this reverse design replaced the Lincoln Memorial that had adorned the penny since 1959. The Union Shield is a historic emblem, symbolizing the strength of the federal government. A horizontal banner emblazoned with E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, sits above 13 vertical stripes, representing the original 13 colonies. Across the shield, a single horizontal bar binds the states together, underscoring the unity that Lincoln so valiantly defended during the Civil War. At the bottom, you'll find the bold lettering, 1 cent. Designed by artist Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Menner, the shield brings a classical, almost Roman gravitas to the humble penny. The U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies in 2013. Around 3.3 billion coins. Approximately 3.3 billion as well. San Francisco Mint, S, issued in proof and uncirculated sets, totaling just a few million, making them far more limited. In total, more than 7 billion pennies were minted in 2013. That's enough to stretch from coast to coast, several times. Most of these coins are common, circulating freely in pocket change. But among them, some are rarer, cleaner, and more pristine, attracting the eyes of serious numismatists. Modern pennies are no longer solid copper. Since 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc composition, a cost-saving measure. The 2013 penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams. That's a far cry from the heavy, nearly pure copper pennies of earlier decades. Because copper became more expensive than the coin's face value. Ironically, a 2013 penny costs more than 1 cent to produce. That's right, it costs taxpayers money to mint a coin worth less than the cost to make it. So, is your 2013 penny worth anything more than a cent? In most cases, no. The vast majority of 2013 Lincoln cents are only worth face value, 1 cent. But there are exceptions. Uncirculated coins MS-60 Mega Siemens 68 coins in mint state condition, especially from mint rolls or bank-wrapped sets, can fetch anywhere from 10 cents to $5, depending on the grade. Proof coins S mint mark, these are made with specially prepared dies and polished blanks. They are not meant for circulation and are sold in U.S. mint sets. These proof pennies can be worth $1 to $5 or more, especially in PR69 or PR70 condition. Errors and varieties. Now this is where things get exciting.
The United States 1 cent coin, commonly referred to as the penny, holds a unique and enduring place in American history. It is not just a medium of monetary exchange but a cultural artifact reflecting the evolving values, aesthetics, and political ideals of the United States. Among the many issues of this coin, the 2015 penny stands out as part of the Shield cent era and continues the tradition of featuring President Abraham Lincoln and the national motto, Liberty. Though small in denomination, the penny has a monumental story, bridging more than 2 centuries of history and design. This essay explores the history of the United States 1 cent coin, with an emphasis on the 2015 design, and analyzes how the themes of liberty, national identity, and continuity are embedded in its evolution. Origins and early history of the U.S. penny. The origins of the United States 1 cent coin date back to the establishment of the U.S. Mint and the Coinage Act of 1792. This act, signed into law by President George Washington, created a national mint and set the dollar as the standard unit of money. Among the denominations authorized were copper 1 cent and half-cent coins. The first official U.S. pennies were struck in 1793 and were made entirely of copper. These early coins were significantly larger than the modern penny and featured a design known as the flowing hair Liberty. The obverse front showed a depiction of Lady Liberty with flowing hair, symbolizing freedom and the nascent identity of the Republic. The reverse bore a chain with 13 links representing the original 13 states, a design that was quickly criticized for its association with slavery and imprisonment. It was soon replaced by a red design. These early designs emphasized classical ideals of liberty and democracy, mirroring the influence of ancient Greece and Rome on the American founders. Liberty and precedence. Over the decades, the penny has undergone numerous design changes, reflecting shifts in politics, public taste, and technology. One of the most iconic early designs was the Indian head cent, introduced in 1859. Contrary to its name, the figure on the coin was not a Native American but Lady Liberty wearing a feathered headdress. This design was intended to symbolize America's spirit and the blending of cultural heritage. The Indian head cent remained popular throughout the Civil War and Reconstruction era, representing both national unity and westward expansion. In 1909, to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln cent, designed by Victor David Brenner. This was the first American coin to feature a real historical figure rather than an allegorical representation. Lincoln's image replaced the traditional liberty depiction, signaling a new era in American numismatics. The obverse of the coin bore a right-facing portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse initially featured two wheat stalks, the wheat penny, from 1909 to 1958. These ARs of wheat symbolized agriculture and prosperity, key elements of the American identity. In 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, aligning the coin with national monuments and themes of remembrance, the modern penny, the Union Shield and the 2015 issue. In 2010, the penny's reverse was redesignated again, this time to feature a Union Shield, replacing the Lincoln Memorial. This design, by artist Lyndall Bass and sculptor Joseph Mena, symbolized Lincoln's role in preserving the United States as one unified nation. The shield is a traditional symbol of strength and defense. In this version, it has 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies and a horizontal bar at the top representing unity. Across the top bar is the inscription, E pluribus unum, Latin for, out of many, one, emphasizing the federal nature of the republic. The 2015 penny continues this design tradition and includes the following features: obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, the word, liberty, and the date, 2015. Reverse, the Union Shield, the denomination, 1 cent, and the motto, E pluribus unum. This coin is composed primarily of zinc 97.5% with a thin copper plating 2.5%, giving it the appearance of earlier copper coins while being cost-effective for production. The concept of liberty is deeply woven into the identity of the United States and its coinage. From the flowing hair liberty of the 18th century to the inscription beside Lincoln's portrait on modern pennies, liberty has remained a central theme. The earliest representations of liberty on U.S. coinage featured classical female figures, akin to Greco-Roman god.